You are tuned to Anywhere the Needle Drops. I am your host, Justin Flagel, and we are here to cover all things music and culture in the Michiana area and the larger region and beyond. And today we've got one of our great local acts in the house. It is the pop punk outfit Stay Nameless. All four members of Stay Nameless crammed into the Red Chuck studio here with me, and we had a great chat about what they're doing with their tunes and the scene in general. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating when you've got a whole band in here, and it's just little old me, but they were all great. We had Bree, we had Cody, we had Bryan, and we had Tony, and we all just hung out and had a great old time talking about their music and everything else. So be sure to check out that interview. Of course, we're going to give you a little taste of their music right now before we get to that. So check out this song, one of my favorites. It is Teddy Bear Murder. The interview begins after.
Truth is staring me in the face. A rush of denial floods through my veins, and it's never ending. I should let it go. Why is everything so confusing? I'll never know. It's all a lie. Don't know why I try. I'll never be satisfied. There's nothing to show now. Just wish I knew how to pick it up and start it all again. Because I set a warning sign back and forth to ease my mind, drifting far away. I'm not who I used to be. I wanna leave it all behind and maybe get some sleep tonight. Can't go back now. I'm not who I used to be. When the lights go out and the days go by, all the things you said that never seem to come out right. No room to breathe, nowhere to go. Caught in between all the things I should have known. When there's nothing to say now, I just wish I knew how to face myself and start it all again. Set a warning sign back and forth to ease my mind, drifting far away. I'm not who I used to be. I wanna leave it all behind and
welcome, Stay Nameless, to the show. Thank you all for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So, let's see here. There we go. Yeah. So, how long have you guys been around? Because you just popped on my radar, very recently. I mean, I pretty much reached out to you guys like the day after I found your stuff. I was like, "This is great. I love this song." Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been a band for what, 2 years?
You knew the exact date, didn't you?
Yeah, we want to break it down. Yeah, it was March 23rd, 2022, I think. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yep, 2 years and a couple months and
Okay.
playing shows and
First show was November.
last year.
November 30th or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it was the 11th, but I'm
it's
really
something
good
like
with
that.
dates, so that's why I remember. But
So after about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, then finally we started doing some shows.
Okay. All right. Now, did you guys all have any kind of musical history prior to the band, or did you form, with this? I mean, what's your background together as musicians?
Us three, dude.
Yeah.
Without Bree, we do. We
Okay.
were metal musicians.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
All right. Very cool.
Yeah, we all go pretty far back in the music scene.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We were so. So me and Cody had a metal band called Henrietta. Started in like 2006, 2007. We were doing shows, and we were doing shows with Bryan's band,
Far
From Phoenix,
Yeah.
and then Home of the Brave. So we
you
we
both
were
had
doing
2 bands?
yeah we had 2
Okay.
separate bands,
I didn't know that.
and then in about 2019, right before COVID, we got Henrietta back together. Bryan joined, and did that for a little while, and that kind of just fell off the rails, and we ended up here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's definitely a thing in this region. I feel like a lot of people are, in multiple bands. I'm doing a project right now. I don't know if you know Abby Thomas and the Crazy Hearts.
Yeah.
But, she's formed her band kind of out of like the best people from every other band.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, oh, you go see Be the Band and there's Isaac right there. And then, of course, Simon's in like, I don't know, a dozen bands besides that one. And,
I
it's
was
just.
in a band with Simon.
Oh, were you?
Simon wasn't in the band at the time, but I played for the Tumbleweed Jumpers.
Oh, nice.
Played
Okay.
drums for them.
Yeah.
Simon joined afterwards, but I did get lucky enough to play one show with them when I filled in for their last drummer, Chuck. So
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. They're a powerhouse now. That formation that the Crazy Hearts have, it's killer. I'm doing a documentary about them, and so I've been following them around on their current tour, and they're just killing it left and right. It's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Abby's awesome. I'm a big fan of Abby for sure. She's got some good stuff.
Yeah. She's a past guest on this show. So
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So all right. So you've got some past bands in the scene, and then what about you, Bree? Like, what's your history with music
Oh, my.
in the
Yeah.
scene or just in general?
So I started doing solo gigs when I was 15. So that was 2013. I started playing at Fiddler's Hearth, downtown South Bend.
Nice.
They're open mics, and then I met some musicians from there, and then kind of went to Smokestack, if anyone remembers that place.
Yeah.
It's where I met, I think you. No, I didn't meet you there.
Nope.
No. But I met a few musicians there, and I started to, play their open mics and meeting more musicians and kind of forming a band in a sense, kind of like what you said, like good musicians from like multiple bands. So I was like floating around doing that, and then I just found myself doing solo stuff again. And then one mic night, I think you were there at Smokestack. That is when you were like, hey, you should be in this band. So I was kind of like floating around doing my own thing. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to sound like yet. And but yeah, it kind of just all fell into place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. What is it that drew you all together to this particular sound? There are a lot of, more metal or punk bands in the
Yeah.
area, and then you kind of get a lot of singer-songwriter stuff,
Yeah.
but you don't get a lot of like that pop punk vibe or anything like that, and I love it, like personally. I mean, my favorite event in the last couple of years was going to that pop punk night at the Dainty Maid when they did that dance party out there. I'm like, this is amazing.
Oh,
So like,
I didn't know that happened. That sounds fun.
yeah. They do some fun stuff there. I'm hoping they do that again. But yeah, so like, what drew you to that particular sound? Is it just what you guys listen to, or?
Well, I think honestly, I reconnected with Bree, and I always thought, man, she's going to do some cool stuff, and I would love to be a part of it. And we were just thinking about that. And I know me and Bryan were kind of throwing things back and forth at each other. You know, musically, we were still staying connected. And then I hit up Bryan, was like, hey, man, I think we should try to do some pop punk thing. Bryan's never played pop punk, neither have I.
Yeah.
We're all, me, Cody, and Bryan, we're metalheads.
Sure, yeah.
So you can hear a little bit of the metal influence.
Yep,
in that
yep.
for
It's
sure.
just happy metal. It's all pop punk is.
Yeah.
Really? Yes.
Same
You
thing,
just
just
said
happy.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, honestly, yeah, our first practice together and everything, it felt really good and felt like we had something dialed in pretty well. I mean, you could sit there and jam on stuff and just not get anywhere.
Yeah.
Especially, that's kind of expected the first time trying something new.
Sure.
But I felt like, and I think Bryan feels the same way, Bree feels the same way. When we first started, it was just us three. And, it just felt like we had something good to build off of.
It was really crazy how easy it flowed, how natural it went. Like, yeah, it was something, I don't know, spiritual, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I get like that. But it
I
was
wouldn't
just
say that.
Hey,
I'm just
nah,
kidding.
man. Like I really do because like it was easy. It just flowed and there wasn't any like he just started playing a riff and he just started getting on the drums and it just happened. So yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. I mean, as creators, I find that collaboration is really something very hard to find, but once you get it, it's so important. I mean, I'm a writer, and so a lot of my creativity tends to be a little bit on the isolated side. But I'm also a filmmaker, and so that's when you bring people together, and it can be so hard to find people that have the same vision, passion, whatever. And so when you find something that clicks, that's magic right there. It's beautiful, spiritual, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, exactly. Yep. But pop punk for me, it's been the constant my whole life. Like that's the only genre that I've really just found myself listening to and just relating to the lyrics and just what it means and what it stands for and just made sense to me. And so I think that's why like this genre was just like perfect for me personally. It's just like bands like Paramore and like Avril Lavigne, like those women that, weren't those pop punk. I mean, no, they were pop punk, but they weren't pop artists like Britney Spears and stuff. And so I found myself loving that.
Yeah.
And so I think I just wanted to stick with that and it just felt like me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a moment in music where there was a bit of a transition from what had previously qualified as pop music, and it was becoming... Not that it was ever unacceptable in reality, but
it was like sexualized.
Yep. And so it was nice to see kind of a transition that direction.
Yep.
Know.
So I just love it for that reason. So
yeah. So how do you all feel in general about the local music scene? I mean, my personal opinion is that it's incredibly rich and really like I just keep thinking, one of these days someone's going to be like, what the hell's going on over there in Michiana? Like, that's why I do this show, because I'm trying to highlight just how cool it is. Because when someone comes up to me and they're like, there's nothing to do on board, I'm like, dude, there's like 4 shows or, an open mic tonight. I mean, there's so much talent in this area.
Yeah.
I think there's more talent now, but mid 2000s, I feel like the venues were just so much better.
Yeah.
It was a whole different time. That's what I've noticed. Like the bands are better now, but the venues were way better back then. There was so many more of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Yeah. Is it just a matter of like quantity as far as like locations to choose or
quality?
Quality. Okay.
Have you
Yeah.
ever been to like the Loft or anything like that? That was in Bristol.
No.
That was, in my opinion, like the best venue that's ever been around here.
Yeah.
And they had like the underground, just venues that would make the venues that are around today just pale in comparison.
Sure.
Really?
But the bands today, I feel like, are better than the bands back then.
Yeah.
Well, and I honestly, and to a point, I agree, but also like there are some really good venues out there. We were playing at Stockroom East July 5th, and I've heard nothing but great things about that place. And the Well, they treated us very well, no pun intended.
Yeah, there are some.
There are some good ones. I would almost say it is a matter of quantity, to be honest.
There's not a lot of venues.
Yeah, I mean the way I look at the music scene now, and honestly back then too, there's so many different pockets. I mean, you go to Mishawaka and it's something different.
Yeah.
Mishawaka, I would say 2 years ago was cover bands. You had the Phoenix, you have Smokestack, a lot of people just doing cover stuff out there. South Bend, you had your kind of DIY scene and all that. You go up. Goodness, Goshen. I mean, Goshen's a whole scene in itself.
Totally, yeah.
You can go out there, and I felt like I was stepping into a time machine 10 years ago. Everybody, everybody is still enjoying music. The same people enjoying music. You have some new, fresh faces as well. So honestly, we are so rich in that. I would love to see these scenes, these little pockets, kind of collaborate a little more.
Sure.
And try to help each other just a little more. I used to run a music venue in 2010 to 2014, and I felt it greatly benefited me, and I hope I could benefit others mutually in collaborating with these other scenes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we've gone through a couple of difficult times, especially economically, and there's always going to be musicians playing music, whether or not you're making any money doing it, because it's an art, it's a passion. The venue definitely leans very much more toward the business aspect of it. And, we've had, again, the 2008 recession, we had a pandemic in it. So I think we're still kind of rebuilding from some of those things. But I think the foundation of that is having all this rich music and talent. And like you said, true, what was the venue that you were in charge of?
I used to run a music venue called The Refuge.
Okay.
Yep. And I did promoting for The Loft in Bristol, and that was really cool. But honestly, The Refuge, I mean, our goal was just to provide a unique experience for people that they felt valued, they felt loved, in a way that most music venues wouldn't show or wouldn't really pay much attention to, and that's everybody from the people who walked in the doors to see a show to the bands performing as well. So honestly, that was just a great experience, and I'm really grateful to have done that.
Yeah.
I think back in that era when we were playing shows, it seemed like 9 out of every 10 shows we played was in a church. And then churches kind of wised up and they didn't want all those hooligans in there anymore.
A lot of people to convert, though.
But hey, if there's any churches listening,
these kids with their loud guitars.
Yeah, churches need to do shows again.
Yeah,
that was a fun era.
Well, I mean, that is one thing that's nice about the Well, though, because the Well really does, they are getting back to kind of fostering that DIY thing. I was talking to Nat.
And Lang Lab, too.
Yeah, and Lang Lab, for sure,
Yeah, they do great things over there.
Yeah. Yep. But I think you're right. I think it's a matter of we have all these little pieces and them kind of coming back together.
Yeah,
and
uniting.
It was all metal back then, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't too many others, It was mainly just, you'd have pop punk and stuff here and there, but it was mainly just metal.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think there is, like you guys said, that, a lot more talent and a lot more variety in the music. I mean, we have, what you guys are doing. We still have some of the heavier bands. We also have, Rebel Noir or Abby Thomas. I mean, we've got the spectrum covered pretty well with quality music. Jesus has been in Reminisce, and I mean, so there's a good hip hop scene. It's pretty amazing,
Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
I'm excited about that July 5th show because I will be there because you guys are playing with, is it
The Weekend Run? Is that right?
I think
the Weekend Run Club and the early,
The early, okay, we've got tickets. We're gonna be there. So
awesome.
yeah,
Sweet.
it's gonna be a good show. And I mean, I just props to Stacker Meats. They're doing good things. They were in here too, kind of chatting about their vision, and they're really trying to build a premier venue that can support local and also draw in some other names, and then let that kind of work together to build a scene. So
I think that's the secret, is honestly just building a scene that rallies around your local bands and really supporting that and building off of that.
Yeah.
All else fails, you don't have a national band for in September or whatever. You have your local heavy hitters. That can still pack out a place.
Yep.
So that's what we hope to be.
In Mishawaka? I've been wondering that, why is there not a really
That's
nice
true.
venue in Mishawaka.
Well, it was Smokestack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like they could bring in like
they needed something.
national bands there.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
for sure.
It's the perfect
Yeah.
spot to do it.
We're gonna keep on working and building this scene.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit though. All right. So and Bryan, you can start first. But like, when did you all get your start in playing music? I mean, did you come from a musical family, or was it sort of an escape for you? I mean, what drew you to playing music?
My dad had a couple guitars in the basement. I think I stumbled across them one day, and I mean, I was raised on like hair metal, so guitar was just something I always wanted to try, and started lessons when I was like 9, I think. And a kid that lived across the street, his mom had just gotten a drum set, and I hauled over my little amp and guitar, and we started jamming together when we were probably 12.
Nice.
We like played shows for the neighborhood kids like in his living room.
I love that.
And him and I, we grew as musicians, and we played together for the next 15 years. And we still get together virtually sometimes and just write little songs together. But
That's awesome.
yeah.
Was the family supportive of it? Was
Oh,
it like,
yeah.
this keeps him out of trouble? So.
Yeah, both of our parents, they were fully on board with it. We ended up transferring to my parents' basement as a full band over the years, and we made lots of music together. So I've been doing it for well over half my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was that was in here, but they were telling me about when they were a kid, and they started playing the drums, and his parents were like, "Well, it's kind of loud and annoying, but it's better than him being doing some who knows what." So,
Exactly. Yep.
what about you? What's your background in music? How'd you get your start?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to church. I was plugged into a youth group, and they said, "Hey, do you know any instruments?" Because they had a youth worship team there, a youth worship band, and I said no, but I backpedal. When I was 13, I learned electric guitar a little bit, or I was dabbling in it. I just didn't really feel like I was super musically inclined. But then a few years later, getting plugged into that youth group, I did tell them I would love to start learning drums. And so their youth pastor was playing drums at the time, and he kind of taught me the basics and just said, "Hey, all right, go ahead, run with it." And of course, I was terrible. Found out I was left-handed, so I was playing on
Nice.
I was playing on a lefty kit for the first 4 years of me playing. Then I realized, I want to be able to sit down at anybody's drum kit and be able to play it. So I learned on a right-handed kit, retaught myself. But me and Cody our stories are pretty parallel when it comes to when we started playing and everything. So I'll let Cody, talk about his experience and everything. But we were jamming together. I grew up in a trailer, so I have my drums in the center of the trailer.
Oh man!
He's got a little 20-watt amp, and my brother's screaming through another little 20-watt amp, and that was basically what we would do.
You're probably filling not just your house, but the next 2 trailers over.
We'd have to talk to all the neighbors all around, say, "Hey, we're gonna jam a little bit. Is that okay?" And
Really?
oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Turn that crap off.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's
They were not nice there. I
no,
lived in the same part.
yeah.
Oh no.
So we'll get back to you, Bree, but so yeah, tell me your
Yeah.
story then. Yeah.
Well, I've known Tony since I was like 5.
Well, you're related.
Yeah, well, we didn't know that till we were 12. Turns out our grandmothers are cousins.
Oh no way. Okay.
We were friends for a long time, and then we found out we were cousins.
That's amazing.
Okay.
I have a similar story with a friend of mine. We were close friends growing up all through high school, and then at some point, we were talking about a family member of his named Darwin. Not a common name. I'm like, that's so funny. I had got a so and so named Darwin, and then all of a sudden we were like, wait a second, and we did the math, and
Yeah.
It was
so
the same one.
been there. Yep.
Yeah, his grandmother actually did the math on that. I was like, okay. So she was asking me who she heard my last name and was asking me who if I knew my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's my grandma. It's like, that's my cousin. And I looked at him. I was like, okay. But
Yeah, the similarities.
Makes sense.
yeah. My start, I knew Tony had played guitar a little bit. I had no interest in music whatsoever. And then I remember it was Tony Hawk's American Wasteland skateboarding video game.
Yeah.
His little brother used to go on LimeWire and stuff and rip all the tracks off of it because he was really into skating.
Yeah.
And it was an Astro Zombies cover of the Misfits that My Chemical Romance did. And I loved it. I didn't even know it was like the Misfits. I thought it was just them. But he downloaded me a bunch of their music, and I got really into My Chem. And then probably like 6 months later, I was watching TRL back when that was a thing.
Yep.
And I saw them play. And Frank, their guitar player, took out like half the drum set. And I was hooked. Like, I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
He just fell off the drum set, took the whole thing with him, and kept playing. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And I got super into My Chem, and then he was getting into drums around that time, so it kind of just worked out.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I definitely would have destroyed his drum set one day.
Definitely.
You would headbutt my cymbal a few times.
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing.
When he would hit the cymbal, like on a breakdown or something, that's what I would go do.
Getting out that teen angst, you know. Yeah.
I was like 14.
All right, Bree, you're up. What was your start in music?
Oh my gosh. So I actually started writing. I did not start on the guitar, which I actually do play. I started writing. So I started when I was pretty young, like elementary school, just really dumb songs, but I tried to just get out what I could, whatever I was going through. So I've been writing songs like my whole life, and it wasn't until I think I was like 14 to where I was like, okay, I see all these artists like Avril Lavigne, for example, like she plays guitar and I can do that too. And so I taught myself to play when I was like 14, and I started to play things like Stevie Nicks and just any other like female vocalist I could, like sing like, or anything I could, play like, or anything like inspiration wise. So that's like where I started. And then it wasn't until like I got older and I realized that like, hey, I can write songs and they're not that bad and I can do it too. And so yeah, that's kind of like my start. It was just more me, like it's very personal to me because I would use music as an escape. I would use it like if I was going through something like at home or anything like that, music is what I turn to, and it's what I put like my whole heart and soul into. So that's kind of like what it is for me and how it started. So,
Sure. Yeah. Did any of you, what was your first onstage audience experience like? Did any of you have some hesitation? Did you dive right in? What was that like for you the first time out?
Oh, man. I don't even really remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah, you got
Talking
one?
like 24 years ago.
What's your tail, Cody? You got one?
Brian, are you good?
Yeah,
He's like, I get
I was
you.
born for it. I had no fear.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Mine was terrifying. There's only like 15 people there.
Yeah.
And I was so terrified. And I got up there, and we had a bass player. His name was Cameron. Bit of a douchebag, but I love him. He thought it'd be funny to kick me in the balls while I was up there.
Nice. That's a classic friend right there.
That was my first experience. I didn't move at all. I was terrified, and I got kicked in the nuts.
All right. Yeah.
It was great.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Has it just been an upward trajectory from there? It can't get any worse,
I
really.
mean, my second show was perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, all the nerves are gone. We're
Sure,
ready to go.
yeah.
And then
Second show was terrible. But
it was terrible, but I loved it. I was jumping around and stuff like
Love
that.
it.
I didn't want to get kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
Good motivator.
Stay moving.
Yeah.
That's one of those stories, like, you hear someone, like, this is, why do they move so much on stage? It's like, well, that first time I played, I got someone kicked me in the crotch, and so now I'm just, like, always running from that.
As long as their first show is really, really terrible, it's like, okay, I'm used to the worst that can possibly happen.
Sure,
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know. I remember just being really nervous, just so nervous, not knowing where to look for my first show, and just like trying to, get the words out, but just feeling so amazing, like while you're in it too. It's like, that's the thing. You get really nervous, but while you're in it, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. And that's been the same for me. I still get nervous and I still love it, and it's exciting, and yeah.
I think there's something a little addicting about kind of getting up there and plugging into that
Yeah.
energy in the
Yeah.
audience. I do a lot of event hosting, like emceeing and, that kind of a thing. And I used to consider myself an introvert. And then when you get in front of a crowd and you kind of realize you kind of can own them with the microphone.
Yeah, man.
And it feels really good, especially growing up as a shy kid. I don't know if any of you were shy growing up, but when you start to learn, like, these people are mine.
Yeah.
Feels real good.
It really does.
Yeah, and as far as like my first experience, I mean, me and Cody played our first show together, and we prepared so long for that. I mean, because it was probably late 2006 that we were messing around, and I mean, it was another year before we played a show. But we went out to, I don't know if Cody was with me, but we were just so desperate just to get on a show. And I saw Kingston Falls, who I became great friends with now. But back then, saw them, and there was another band called The Great Escape that was playing with them. Jesse Gutierrez was their drummer. He plays in bands now. Goodness, I'm drawing a complete blank on his bands. But he was like, yeah, I think I could set you up with something. And I'm like, seriously? Like, this is crazy. And so he sure enough, he set us up at a church across the street from a venue called The Post in Goshen. It was just a church and the venue was called Jimmy's Place. Mom took us, and, we loaded up a truck and got all our equipment in there. And it was great, honestly. I mean, I felt like the experience was wonderful, and it's kind of cool after everything's done. And you're loading the equipment back up at Cameron's house. We practiced at Cameron's house, our bass player, and just thinking, wow, okay, cool, we did it. Like, this is the start of like our, music career, and
It's real in that moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It's the best.
So I know you guys have a few tracks out there. Is there any kind of album in the works, or what are you guys working on right now? What's the plan?
I mean, it's getting there.
Yeah, it is getting there. We're hopefully going to release an EP very, very soon. We just have to dial in the last little bit, and we're ready. We picked a name, right? We did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Assuming you guys want to stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. But, so, I mean, I guess we have that. But the material's there. We just are doing the last little bit.
Yeah.
It's harder when you're in your 30s.
Yeah, they're in their 30s. I'm not.
You got
So.
responsibilities. That's the only reason it takes so long. Is because we're all very, very busy.
Sure.
All the songs on it have been recorded forever. We even have newer songs already that are close to getting to that finishing stage, and it's like, man, we just don't have time.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I guess it just comes with it.
I mean, I'm I broke the 40 line not that long ago, and it's just like, life just gets busier and busier. So doesn't slow down, but
yeah, hopefully soon.
Awesome. Okay.
That. Yeah.
All right.
Out.
Yeah. So, with all of your different lives, and I imagine you all probably have day jobs and everything like that as well. So, I mean, how do you like keep things consistent? Do you have a regular set practice, or, what is your routine to kind of keep things flowing?
Yeah, so we have Thursdays as practice days. We try to, talk about what we're going to do for practice that day, the way we're not wasting time, because a lot of us have ADHD and we go off track on practice.
All but Bryan.
Us three do. Brian doesn't. So Brian usually has
So you're the one steering the ship?
Yeah.
Trying to keep things on track best I can.
He produces all of it, records all of it, and we're just kind of just... He's got to be like a parent to us most of the time.
There's always one. Someone has to be, and it's not always something you choose. It's kind of reluctant, but right?
And Dad.
Especially me, it's 5 seconds and my mind's gone.
Yeah.
I'm watching some video on Facebook, forgetting where I'm at.
Yeah, we're like, Cody, what?
Yeah. Practice is. I mean, it's tough, because it is definitely week to week. Though we have a set day, we'll say, hey, Thursdays. I mean, sometimes it's checking in that week and going, hey, does Thursday still work? And honestly, 4 out of 5 times it doesn't. So, and we work around it or whatever. But But yeah, we right after work basically. I work 8 to 5. I think these guys do too, and like we practice like 5:36. Whatever weekday we can, and try to do as much as we can in that little bit of time if we have to, go to bed and go to work the next day. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locations change sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure our wives are happy. I'm not married, but these two are. So, you know, if
Yeah.
we don't want to be too loud.
Yeah. Yeah, we might
That's
go to his
difficult.
house or Brian's, but yeah, we try to, be consistent in that way. So.
What about what's your songwriting process? I mean, do you have does someone take the lead? Are you bringing in lyrics immediately? Are you sharing songwriting duties? How does it all start for you?
Dun, da, da, da.
You are also
Everybody points at me.
yeah. You're the man in charge.
This is radio guys. You can't point at me.
No one sees you.
Yeah, no one sees that. Yeah, the songwriting process is a little different than I have approached it in the past, where you get together as a band and hash it out together. We actually just kind of record it as we write it in my studio. Tony plays like an electric set. Cody and I have a guitar, and we just go part by part and record it. And then 2 years later, after it's done, we have to learn it for real. We're like, oh God, what the hell did I play here?
Yeah, we just don't
Yeah.
rest at all.
Yeah.
And remember it later.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool how we we will record like a good section of something, and then Bryan will send us just a rough, unmixed copy of it, and you just kind of sit on it, just let it marinate a little bit. Some of the ideas that you had in that moment where you're kind of overthinking things, you realize a week later, wow, okay, that actually isn't going to work there. And you might come back with a better idea. Or sometimes Bryan even just, like I remember, Teddy Bear Murder. We were thinking about a bridge.
Great song, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about a bridge and just like, dude, what should we do for this bridge? And Bryan just sent something. He's like, dude, check this out. I did this. And I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Can we curse on here? Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Yep. Have at it.
So, I mean, we heard it and I was like, wow. I mean, Bryan is just, he's so gifted in how he writes and some of the riffs he comes up with. And he has other, studio projects as well that y'all should check out. Bryan could talk more on that, but.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done many things over the years, just with friends mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one that I've done with my friend Caleb, Imperial Skies. God, we've been doing that together for 7 years now. But we put out a song like every year or so, and it's nothing real serious. Just two friends making music, having fun.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it,
Yeah.
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 But yeah, they will write like all the music, and then Bryan will send it to all of us. But with those songs that are out now, how we did it, they sent it over, and I listened to it a bunch. But I was there while they were, making the music too.
Mm-hmm.
But I would take the songs, and whatever I heard in my head is what you hear. Like I just like wrote it. Whatever I heard is like I didn't want to go back and like rewrite anything if I didn't have to. I wanted it to just like flow, and I worked really hard on like letting it out in the best way and like the most raw way that I'm so proud of it and like how it was written. That like now I'm just like I don't know if I can get that magic back, and so that's what's been the struggle for me lyrically is like how do I approach this differently because something is not there. So that's. Yeah.
So are you saying you're writing lyrics as you're listening to what
Yep,
they've sent
yep,
you? Okay,
yep,
so you
yep.
don't. I mean, do you have I don't know, like a notebook with nuggets of ideas that you're drawing from?
So
or
so like I tried. So I usually will handwrite everything, but in this case, I tried something different, and I was just like on my laptop at work, actually, like on my lunch, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna listen to it, and try to write something, and I was on my Google Docs and just typed and typed and typed and typed, and that's just how I did it. So I guess like there was like I think 10 pages for like one song because it was just like whatever I was thinking I was writing down. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely there's no right way to do
no
this
one
stuff.
tells you, no.
Yeah, it's you just kind of figure it out, and like
Yeah.
you were saying, you're not used to doing it this way. You've done it several
Right.
other ways, I imagine. And
This is definitely the most efficient way I've ever done it. Since
Yeah.
we're all adults, we don't have a whole lot of free time. So it's like, what's going to get us from the starting point to the end point the fastest? And
yeah,
let's just record it as we write it, and we can go back and edit things as we go, as we see fit. But
sure,
Yeah.
from an efficiency standpoint, this seems to be working pretty well.
yeah.
And it also helps that like these guys, they can like make the coolest riffs, and it's just natural to them and how quick they do it. It's like, it's awesome, and it just helps with this. So, yeah.
Helps when you got the right people too.
Yeah.
Are any of the rest of you doing other projects outside of Stay Nameless, or is it just pretty much the
I
main
have quite a few.
Yeah.
Tony stays busy.
It's a
Yeah.
list.
My goodness. So I play in a Linkin Park tribute band called Faint. We just got started probably February this year, and our first show will be August. Oh, I don't even know if I can announce that yet. So I think we're locking in our first show.
Okay. All right.
I do know that. Yeah, goodness, we have quite a few things lined up for sure. But that's been staying busy. Really, some great musicians in there. Wyatt Marshall, who sings in a cover band called Amarillo Sky. He's got solo stuff as well. Devin Ziegler, who plays in a band called Zero, cover band as well. So those guys, it's been great making music with them. And then there's also, I'm in a cover band called Size Matters, so I do that.
All right.
Yeah, we just played a show at Five Star Dive Bar last night.
Nice.
Great time, great turnout. So
Yeah.
keeps me busy about every weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about any other art or creativity? You guys dabble in anything else besides music?
I mean, I've got the metal bug pretty bad, so
Yeah.
Stay Nameless isn't exactly metal, so I like to, any metal project I can do.
Okay.
Like some old friends of mine, Home of the Brave, if anybody remembers that band, we're all kind of spread out over the country now. 2 guys in Florida, 1 in New York, but we get together like virtually like once a month, and we're just kind of trying to rekindle the old flame and just write songs together again. I don't know where it'll go, if anywhere, but it's fun just to do it.
Yeah. I love that. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't.
No, just-
Nope.
Me neither.
Yeah. Just focus on the
I'm
music.
surprised we don't with all our ADHD.
Home of the Brave, though, oh my goodness, like back, early 2010s, mid 2010s, that was an awesome band. And my old band, I was also in a hardcore punk band at that time called Tall Tales, so we played together quite frequently. And Home of the Brave is just awesome. Kenrick is their vocalist, and he just has killer vocals.
Yeah.
He's got great scream, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does success look for you guys? I mean, are you aiming for something in particular? You know, I mean, of course, yeah, there's always the idea of the big dream being like the rock stars and whatever. But I mean, honestly, some of the best bands I know are like the Rutabaga. It's 2 dudes with day jobs and families, and they make the most amazing music on the side when they have time, and they love that, and that's all they want. So what is success for all of you? And it might be different for each of you. But
I'll set the tone for this.
Yeah, please, would you?
We all have different ideas of what success looks like.
Yeah.
Here in the band, and that's something we're navigating through, just taking one step at a time. But I guess just preface it with that.
Sure.
But anyways, you guys can get started.
I think me and Bryan's are very similar.
Yeah, I would think so.
We both have wives,
Both
day
the married
jobs.
guys, yeah.
So for me, it's just a for fun kind of thing. Nowadays, I really don't see much money being made in it, even for bigger acts. It's like if you're really, really huge, you make some money, but compared to our day jobs, I don't think that's going to suffice. So for us, it's a hobby.
And for me, I want to make it my life.
Yeah.
I am like the total opposite. Like, this is all
She's
I've ever
10 years
wanted.
younger than the rest
Yeah,
of us.
I'm not 10 years younger. I'm like
Close.
8. I'm like
Close
8 years younger. But no, this is like, all I've ever wanted. So I mean, like, success for me would just, like, write what I'm feeling and put it out there and just keep doing it, and hopefully like it catches some attention and people relate to it, and they see themselves in that. That's success for me, if they can I can let them know they're not alone in that,
Sure.
what they're feeling. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, for me, like my vision and idea for when we started this, I understood, hey, 2 guys in this band are married, and I just wanted to get connected with Bree, and I don't know, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but take you under our wing a little bit, and just kind of show
I'm glad you did.
just do some stuff with you, and my vision for it is to get her to the next spot and whether we all stick together or not, at least we're getting there and doing what we can. And
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll take it one step at a time. I could let Bryan speak more on his point.
Yeah, I mean, success to me is just making good songs that once they're finished, I feel proud of.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done music my whole life, and I don't ever want to stop. It's
Yeah.
just a part of who I am,
Mm-hmm.
But I have bills to pay, responsibilities and all that. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to tour and make it big and make a lot of money doing
Yeah.
it. But at the same time, I'm happy just playing music.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a privilege, whatever your art is, to be able to just have the time to make your art, whether or not
Right.
it's a career,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good idea. It'd be really screwed up, but have like younger people that are hungrier for that.
Yeah.
We just be in the band, but we don't got a tour or
Yeah.
anything. Just push it on someone else.
Sure.
Have 2 sets of guitar players so they can go do what they want. We can still record, but it's
The
like,
recording
Yeah.
band and the
enjoy it,
touring
guys.
bands.
Yeah, there's bands out there that do that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, there are
10
artists out
members
there,
that just
you know.
kind of go.
You got your studio session people, then you got your touring people.
Yeah, I've heard
Perfect.
people tell me that I should just be a studio musician.
I mean, some of the, the biggest legends in music are the session guys, right? I mean,
Yeah,
some of the people that
that's
make
true.
the things happen. They, there are so many sounds that are distinct to this session group or that session group, and you think of the front person. We think of the front person, but really, I mean, that sound comes from these
Yeah,
people.
that's
So,
true. That's very true.
yeah, yeah. How far out do you guys play? Is it strictly just in the South Bend area? Are you pushing out your territory a little bit?
Depends. I
Going to
guess.
Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. And we're going to Fort Wayne again July 13th, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. We're playing Piers,
Okay.
which should be really fun. We played Fort Wayne a couple months ago too. But yeah, hopefully I would like personally to play, like out a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe like Michigan or Chicago or Ohio or something would be cool.
Good 2-hour radius, I
Yeah,
think is.
nothing
Yeah.
too far, but just a little bit further.
Yeah, not multi-day. Or we would need those backup guitar players.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you do that ever on occasion? Take a long weekend, do a couple shows somewhere out of
I would
town,
love to do
or
that, but no, we haven't.
We
Yeah.
haven't, but yeah, I'd be definitely open
That'd
to
be
doing
cool.
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What does it look like when you're all on the road together, even just for a there and back kind of a thing? Who's the cranky road rage one?
We kind of just drive separately. All
Oh, okay, all right.
I know.
We've never really
they have
played
their
far enough
wives
away.
And yeah.
me and Bryan, we do like amp sims so it's like we're not carrying around big amps or something. We can just fit everything in our trunk.
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
Show up.
All right. So there's not like you're not all packing into one vehicle.
No,
If
but
we were
when
going
that
far away,
but
yeah,
when that day
yeah.
comes, that will be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna. be.
We've only played. I mean, if you think about it, goodness,
only
we've only played
played-
6-7 shows. Maybe.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played 6-7 shows.
So-
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, not a lot, but yeah, they've been mostly local. So
But
Yeah.
we'll typically drive together.
yeah,
Me and Bree
yeah.
would drive together, and
You show me all your AI songs. I'm like, yeah, man, this is great.
That's a whole nother conversation.
yeah, we could get on all that.
The world is constantly changing. That's
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Ain't
I
it?
don't even know what to do now.
Yeah, it's something else. Yeah. So as we start to wind things down, I mean, what else are you guys doing out there? When you're not playing music, are you catching shows locally? I mean, what do you guys do to to fill your time? I mean, obviously you get your families and everything. Like, do you, kids at all, or
Not yet.
not yet? Okay, all right.
2 dogs.
2 dogs. All right.
Oh man, I'm a huge golfer. I got addicted. I turned 30 and something snapped in my brain. It's like I need to start golfing. I got addicted to it.
Weird.
Yeah.
The risk of getting old
Right.
is you
Not
become a
boring at
golfer.
all.
Yeah.
You just needed to be older.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as it goes for me, I am doing. Oh my goodness, if I'm not working, I'm typically doing music at home.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's not much time for anything else or supporting bands.
Sure.
I love
Yeah, you're
going
big
out
on
and
that.
seeing a
You do
show.
great on that.
We were just you and I were just talking earlier about pro wrestling.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure. Yep.
I'm a huge wrestling fanatic. I have been since I was 8. I wanted to be a pro wrestler growing up.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was almost like making the choice when I was 15. Do I want to pursue music? Do I want to pursue pro wrestling?
Why not both?
Yeah, I didn't pull a Chris Jericho yet, I should say. I'm 34. I mean, I could still do it, but well, I don't know. My body says otherwise. But honestly,
the recovery time does take a little longer. That's for sure.
yeah. I just had a buddy who wrestled, and he just retired. I think back in December. And he went by the name Scotty Young. Mm-hmm. So he was doing that since he was 17. But honestly, yes, that's the stuff I love. I love catching a show in that aspect. I'd love to see those two worlds kind of collide, you know.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, to see them both benefit each other in some way.
Yeah.
It could work. I mean,
we had a reunion show in Henrietta. It was back in like 2013. There was a lot of people there. And we had a bunch of bands, but we had a wrestling ring there too.
That's cool.
Nice.
We had this company come out.
Cool.
They were doing that while we were playing music, and it turned out really well.
That's epic. All right, I'm down. Yeah, more pro wrestling live music combo. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm not working, I am usually playing music, writing music. I model too. I catch shows locally. I love doing that. And big shows too. I get to see Blink-182 this year. I'm so excited.
Nice.
So yeah, just any way I can to get out there and support the local music scene is fun for me. So yeah. What about you?
I have a very physically intensive job, so
What do you do?
I work in RV paint.
Okay.
I've done tons of different jobs in that, and it's pretty tiring. So until I get to a point where I'm gonna transfer to do something different, my schedule is pretty much relaxing. Playing golf it's about the most I can do.
You guys are so fun and exciting. Like, this is
I usually get up at 3 in the morning.
Crossword puzzles.
It's tiring.
Yeah, man,
That's you'll get there. I mean, I'm just saying, you'll get there at some point. You'll be pulling out those crossword puzzles and grabbing for those golf clubs. I did dodge the golf thing. I'll say I tried, and it didn't take. So
I used to think it was the most boring thing ever.
Yeah, there you go. Well, awesome. Well, keep me posted on what you guys are doing. If the EP comes together, and what shows are going on, and we'll be sure to keep it going on the website and all that fun stuff. And of course, we'll put you guys' website and socials and everything in the show notes for this. But anything else you guys want to say to the folks out there?
Well,
Stay Nameless.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, we got this EP coming up. We also probably have 4 other songs that are, skeletal outlines of it at least, and
so much better than what we have out of right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I mean, all that's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got a lot of stuff coming. Music video, eventually here soon.
Nice.
And,
Yep.
I mean,
That's in the works.
keep track.
Be patient with us.
Yeah.
So are you shooting the video locally then, or?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
My brother Nick Bliss will be shooting the music video. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yep.
Check him out, Bliss Photography Art.
There you go. All right. Well, stay nameless. Thank you all for coming on the show, and everyone check them out.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Anywhere the Needle Drops, a product of Red Chuck Productions. Be sure to keep tabs on everything going on with this show and everything else Red Chuck over at redchuckproductions.com or by following us at Red Chuck Productions on social media. Special thanks to Hero Jr. for our theme music. You can check them out, listen to their songs, and see where they're going to be over at herojrmusic.com. That's HEROJRMUSIC.com. Also, special thanks to Paul Clemson, our sound engineer and producer. And while you're at it, make sure you visit the websites and band camps and shows of all of our guests. If you want local music, if you want independent music, or any kind of art, you've got to support them. So give musicians and artists your money. We will see you at the next episode. Until then, here's to life.